So I started streaming a bit late, so they already tied 1-1. Let's continue from here. I only drop the link to Discord. How can I get the link? Copy video. Okay, hopefully the stream works. Okay. Let's see what's happening. So this opening is fine, but I don't particularly like such stuff for white. I think it is less, how to say, challenging than just to start with knight h3, knight a3, because you give black the opportunity to develop this knight, and this knight is not quite as good. So c3 is useful so that you defend this square from some knight jumps and can play b5, b6, for example. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with my stream. Let's see if it's going. Okay, yes, everything is fine with the stream. Okay, so let's just continue without any more interruptions. Yes, if you ask questions, please ask them in Discord. So this looks not good. What's with material? Okay, the material is equal basically. The position is tricky. This is main white thread. The secondary thread is b6. What can you tell to this? Can't really take because white loses material if takes. Can you play b6 here? Yeah, that was quite a good move probably. But what if b6? Maybe. Yes. I'm not sure this was better than b6, but okay. What if knight d3? Then probably you're supposed to take. And then white still have this threat. Yes, this maybe is a good move because now we have this or this. So queen b3 is no more a threat, and at the same time black is pushing. Black is trying to open up the position for the white king. So is e3 really dangerous? Queen b3, b4. Queen b3, b4. No, I think after queen b3 black had queen d5 and queen b4 you just take here. So it wasn't really a threat. Now looks like there are some weaknesses in white's position. I don't really like this position for white. And Natso may lose here. It's interesting that white king is castled, but it is much weaker than black king. What can Natso do here? Actually, yes, this maybe is a good move. So the queen is blocked, but the queen can possibly do something like that after it is opened. It will be a hard time for white. Okay, suppose it takes. H4 looks forced, because H3 you can't play because bishop takes. Now G5 is an idea. This, to be honest, this looks like a waste of tempo. Okay, you attacked the queen. Now white moves the queen on some useful square, maybe. Not that there is many useful squares, but okay, the rook may have better gone here. I'm not entirely sure that white knows what they're doing. Yes, the rook was definitely better here. Now queen here, queen G3, queen takes. And this looks dead losing for white. Just queen G4, queen G3, queen takes. Black is up material, and black is checking white. This complicates stuff. I don't like this move, but probably black is winning anyway. So yes. If white manages to connect the kings, then it complicates stuff quite a lot. Oh, that is not checkmate. I mean, I think that that my way of winning was much simpler, but this probably works. This move is not quite good. Yes, so now black. Is this winning at all? To be honest, this looks like a draw now, because white's threats are quite strong. Oh, there is this move. Well, I can just take and no, I don't like this. Knight c2 looked much better. This is just losing. So we take, well, maybe not, but you take the pawn. What are you doing? Oh, he's ponytizing. Yes, this is a draw now. Okay. No, this is a draw. Not so tricked. Dartanian. I mean, this is a yikes, but when you unnecessarily complicate stuff, it happens sometimes. So let's look at this. b5 is the only good theoretically move here. But c6 and c6 is not easy to crack too. Okay, h3 is the best move in my view. h5, yes, this is quite the only moves. And g4 is one of the options, another is f5. There is also some cryptic e4 option. Yes, this is quite good for white. I like this position for white. It's not a good line to play versus the bot, for example. Like the engine will crush a human as any color in this position, but just in a human game this usually feels a bit solidly better for white. And knowing theory doesn't help here to either side. It's just the question of atomic skill who wins here. So this is quite a good opening if you want to train to play atomic. e4 looks natural, something like that. Maybe f5 at some point. Yes, white should just push with the pawns and when you have lots of space and put your pieces on some attacking squares, you may have good chances. Okay, this is there are some ideas you can take, because after this move there are problems for white. Maybe not. No, there are problems, I think. So this move is possible. Maybe I probably even had the game versus Vlad in this exact position. This opening is played by Vlad. So let's suggest b4. I'm not sure that b4 is a good move. Oh, actually this is quite nice. So now bishop b5 is threatening and there is no more follow-up. So why Natso didn't play knight c7, I don't understand. Maybe there are some, there are some problems with this queen. Wow. Yes, that was... Then c5 was a huge blunder. It seems. Because if you can't take here, just because black checkmates you, then this knight will do some very bad stuff for white. Okay, how can white not lose too much here? I don't know how to answer this question, to be honest. This move is probably the least evil what black has here. For example, if you play e4, yes, then black takes here. And if you don't play e4, then, like, I don't know, take here, yes. Then black plays like that and you are forced to take this knight. You can do that. Check. Yes, probably taking here is the best option, but also this move is tempting. Then queen must take. Maybe this move is best. No, I don't like this move at all. You should have taken with the queen to have any chances. Now this is just dead lost. b4, queen here. I mean, absolutely no chances. Rook here. Yes, white resigned. Okay, yes, that was a nice find by Natso that knight b4 actually works. Who will win? I think Natso is a favorite here, despite he has some low rating nowadays. But I don't know this guy very well. He has a good score versus me, by the way. But generally, Natso's rating should be like 200 higher than that. I think he's more experienced than this guy. But I can conceivably see them both win this match, so it is kinda interesting. Okay, what is this? Yes, this is quite well-known opening. It is drawn, I believe. I'm not sure who is practically. I think white is practically better, a bit better here, but just because they have extra pawn and black's initiative is not quite understandable. I mean, I don't know this opening very well. F3 was the main move. Okay, Gannett knows all the main moves. Queen h5 looks suspicious. I would probably play d4 instead of queen h5. Just simple natural development. I don't know. Putting the queen here looks suspicious. I don't like this at all. Like if you castle, for example, black has some threats. So I can't simply castle here. Can black still play this? Yes, I mean black has some initiative on the king side. Can he play f4? So if black were to play f4, white is in trouble. Here. Maybe g5. Like if white will play g4, then maybe takes. And f-file looks pretty dangerous for white, because they are one tempo down on the king side. On the other hand, if the attack doesn't work, then black is simply a pawn down. So it is double-edged. Should you play a6 to prevent some tricks here? Probably. If not for a6, then white could have played this, takes this. Quite a typical tactics. Taking the knight is usually not good because bishop is stronger than knight, but if white takes the knight with the bishop, then you can do that as well. Nothing inherently bad with it. In this particular situation, if you continue the attack simply, then I'm not sure. Maybe you can just take this. Does white really have the right to attack on the queen side? I'm not sure. It looks positionally a good move to take. So we can expect knight b5, but f4. If you take, then I take. Bishop f4, and this rook e8, and this is crushing. Maybe not crushing, but it is at least a draw for black, and it looks quite suspicious for white. On the other hand, if you don't play this, what do you play? Maybe bishop here takes. I mean bishop here to castle long. This doesn't look entirely safe anyways. What if castle short here? Is this safe? Like, then black has some ideas like that. What? Can't he take? This is weird. I would not play this. Why would you not take that? Probably bishop f4 was safe for white. It's hard to calculate. If you take bishop f4, I think black misplayed this somehow. Black has lots of time. Why would you hurry that much? Because this position looks the attack is exhausted and white is simply a pawn up. I don't see how black will proceed here. Oh, what about this move? Yes, it was painful. You can't play this because of this checkmate. So, oh, but anyways, rook here. Why not? Okay. This looks winning for white. Just h4 to prevent this bishop from. Okay, maybe that's okay. 2. Yeah, h4. Yes. So they must take. Oh no, there is no such moves. Maybe here. Yeah, then they take. That's not easy to say what's going on, but I suppose just this knight is coming and taking the rook. Oh, that's some nasty. Why would you do that, Natso? Well, king b1. King b1 is the only move. So probably knight here. And again, I thought that that was somehow more easily winning for white, but now it may be drawn because this rook is dead, honestly speaking. Okay, yes, you play that, and maybe this and this rook somehow gets alive. I don't know. Oh, just push. Oh, just push. What happened with the sound? I don't hear any sound. Oh, the sound is back. Why? Yes, I understand. What happened? So he took with the rook because otherwise there is a perpetual here. But this looks like a perpetual too. Wow. Then this is a GG. Yes, and the rook is. Yeah, this is just checkmate. Well played, Natso. Okay. Although I like this opening, but he is playing it the third time, I suppose. And I don't feel that playing one. or e4. This is a bit new, just some engine move, but it turns out good. Generally, the advantage of white in this position is the bishops. The positions that you get here are usually quite open, like many pawns standing on the 4th and 5th rank. Then they start to open somehow, and after that bishops are extremely strong. I mean, not only after that, but even when you have some pawn walls, the bishops standing on some nice squares create tons of threats related to taking those pawns. So I guess d4, why not? It looks logical. And knight a6 may be answered by b4, like Vlad said. Okay. That reminds me of something. What if knight a6? This may be too cheeky this time, but I'm not sure c5 is the right move to make when you have such problems with this idea. But anyway, after knight a6 you can play b4 and like you don't care. Oh, also now that the pawn is not on d4, such threats can be blocked by a knight, because the knight cannot longer be taken by this pawn. This is interesting. So I suggested to play d4, but this may be a reason not to play it. But I think this is a too contrived reason to not play d4 in such position. Like, because if you play d4, knight a6, you can play like b4 or a3. It's not like everything is so calculating NAC. I don't think that black should play na6 here, honestly. Maybe a5 is a better move, just to create some pressure. I don't like this. Maybe f5 was also good, it seemed. What I don't like is this bishop. This bishop looks quite miserable. Maybe just g6 and bishop h6 makes it better. Like, yes. Okay, so the position is kind of locked on the king side, so black, it's not kind of locked. You cannot, for example, suppose you give up the bishop and castle, then white has, for example, this sacrifice. So even if you lock the position here, it is not quite safe for black. I'm not exactly sure that allowing f5 was the right idea. So this move is preparing bishop h6, I suppose, because playing it immediately is not good, because pawn and bishop are taken immediately. Yes, so he plays bishop h6, bishop here. I'm still kind of inclined to think that this is better for white because of extra bishop that is not countered. And the d5 looks like a strong move. You can just block this pawn. You cannot take this because this is winning then. But now I don't see how black can continue the attack. Actually, I don't see a single What? If I take, then what? Rook here. At the very least, you can play this, exchange the queen for a rook, castle, and this is just simply winning for white. Yes, but as always, simple ways are not quite right, so we complicate stuff. Maybe here it's really easier to do this. Yes, this is winning for white anyways. Okay. It is getting quite intense. E4. As far as I remember, the last E4 game ended in a draw. Oh, well, yeah, it ended in a draw, but it was such a draw that white should have won there, so. Probably Natso is correct to play this. This structure is kinda typical when some guy who analyzes opening with stockfish plays for black, and some other guy who just wants to play some human things build this. This is not quite. I mean, it looks good for black because you develop two knights, unlike white, who only pushes the pawns. But in practice, it often ends up kinda annoying for black because the pawns are not as weak as you might think there are. It is especially confusing to analyze such opening with engine because engine usually thinks that developed knights are good, and to prove that it often suggests some weird moves in the following opening or middle games. Okay, so this is already looking good for white, to be honest. Very good. I'm not entirely sure. F5, knight here, and where do you put your queen? No, this is. You could do this, takes, and after that take the knight. In this position, queen can go here, and I don't think that is what white wants. So I think that was a bit hard. If this then. Well, anyways. No, yeah, maybe this was not a good move. So you gave up the queen, but not for this knight, but for some bishop that doesn't even matter in this position. It would be better to give up the queen for this knight, of course. But this looks just losing anyway. not sure what to comment next in this game, because it looks just simply win for white. Anyway, of a4, knight goes here. I don't see a quick win, but it's hard to imagine that white will not win this. Only if they blunder a queen for the rook, for example, somehow. But I don't think this is gonna happen. a4, knight a3 looks like the most natural continuation for me. Like a4, so that if you play knight here, then there won't be a 3 to take in this pawn. So a4 before knight a3 may be good. Yes, I saw this, but I'm not sure. Oh, there is that. Okay, maybe that was an easier way to win. Just queen here. Yes. So Dartanian is now in a must not lose situation, and he plays as white, so it's not that bad for him, but I don't find convincing the way he plays this opening. I think if you lose as white in your opening, then you should change your opening. There are lots of openings that you can play as white, strong openings. So if just your opening is prepared against this opening, why not change? Natso seems well prepared for this, if he even knows some knight b6, knight a6, b4 tricks. It's very hard to find it over the board. I think he saw these tricks. So I remember there was a Vlad Xerances games previous year on AWC, when Vlad was white and Xerances was black, and they played something very similar, and there was this knight a6 idea. So probably Natso saw this. This is something new. I don't particularly like this knight. I mean, where does this knight go in next? This is a question. Knight b6, then you can't take because of this same trick with the queen. You can take with the pawn, but this is kinda meh. You exchange a strong c5 pawn for only a knight. Oh, so Natsu decided to take this pawn at once. Well, maybe a good decision, but it somehow feels that white is a bit better in this position. Yes, this is quite typical. To undermine the b5 pawn, you can't play b4 because bishop invades, so you have to deal with that. a6 looks quite natural to prevent some stuff like that, and at the same time if he takes, then they won't be hanging. So a6 probably is okay move. Maybe there is something better, I don't know, maybe f5. But I'm wondering why not g4. I understand he wants to do that probably, but like h4 maybe. No, if h4 then takes. There may be some nasty stuff with exchanging everything along the h file and giving something like that. I'm not sure this is winning for white though. Oh yes, it's winning. So bishop h3 is a good move, I suppose. If you take, then black has to deal with this move. Something like that. So this is a possible move. Does something change if black plays f5, takes, and after that takes? Yes, it probably does, because after that black now have queen h4. If rook takes, then rook gives this check. So after this, probably f5 is a good move. Yeah, this is very complicated. Maybe if you play... No, if you give up the queen for the rook and like open this file, then the problem is the rook is not as dangerous as the queen along the h file. You can just run with the king here. Against the queen you can't simply run because it gives the check, then you play g6 and the queen is going along the 7th file. So f5 looks like a possible move. G takes h4. Yes, now there is a serious threat. How to deal with this? Probably g4. g4 looks like a good... Yes. So you exchange the rooks. White is probably going like that. I don't know, like that. And try to invade, but black also has queen c7 and queen h7. Maybe long castling, if like something like... Okay. You take... This looks drawish. Okay, queen c7, queen here, castling. Or like... No, not queen here. Because after castling now you take, and this should be winning for white, no? This definitely looks winning for white after take. If rook here, then bishop here, and like white is able to stop both this passed pawn and the rook. So Dartanian is winning this game. I think queen e7 was a mistake, queen c7 was better. Wow, this is some cool stuff. Well, knight can go here. If you take, then that, and rook cannot penetrate. No, this doesn't look like a good move. Knight f3 was better. Okay, it's very hard to understand what is going on. Knight goes here. Yes, I still think that white is winning in this play. Yes, rook here, and this check is just deadly. So the match is getting more and more intense. Natso has a good opportunity to win the match in this game because he's white and a win is enough, but if he doesn't win, then it will be even more intense. Okay, this defense for black is good. I recommended this defense. Okay, I won't give up some secrets. Probably. But this defense is quite good, I looked into it. So I don't think that d4 is a particularly good way to push for a win, but it makes for a nice game. And especially if the opponent is not very well versed in atomic, d4 opening sometimes may confuse them. Okay, this was an idea that I played in my match versus Lasse. Pretty much the same stuff, only without the pawn on f2. It is even stronger without the pawn on f2 because the rook is now threatening to go here. Castling looks like a no-brainer here. But now black doesn't have a pawn on e5, so you don't have those threats. How to proceed for white, I'm not sure. You probably need to push c4 in some way. Maybe knight a4, c4, maybe like that. Because if you open the c file, there is some interesting stuff going on here. You can simply exchange these bishops. I don't think that you should put the bishops like that for white, because the king side should be more open to exert some pressure along the f file. So I believe that the white should exchange the bishops, and Natso have done this. And next, the knight. Is this idea good? I don't know. Maybe a4 is a better idea. Undermining the b5 pawn as it is usually done. b4 is impossible because of knight b5, so this looks like a nice move, a4. But knight a4 probably also good. I don't like this move. Okay, h6. Now black is eliminating their weakness, but what does this move achieve? Oh, it removes the queen from this. Maybe it's not that bad. So now the knight can jump somewhere. But would you like to give up the exchanging the pawn for that? I'm not sure. Like knight goes here, queen here, and is this a good position for white? I'm not sure. It doesn't look like this. Okay, it's probably like close to equal, but I don't think that after bishop takes white have some advantage. The knight is quite compensates for the lost material, but that's all. Well, in this position, knight plays here, and then you can, I don't know, take this bishop. You can even take it immediately. Yes, take it immediately. You cannot take the knight because of this pin, so you can even decide where do you move this knight. Probably c5. Then knight decides to go here. Oh, this move is kinda nasty. Yeah, this is probably a good move, because after knight, yes, now you can at least lose not so much material, but to be honest, this looks winning. I'm not sure Why taking on if e2 was bad? Did he saw something concrete that I didn't saw, or he was just scared? I don't know. Bishop e2, rook e1. What rook e1? If bishop takes e2, then there is no rook on f1, and this rook cannot go to e1 because there is a queen. I don't understand. Okay. So honestly, this position looks winning for white. And then the match is over, but you can consume blue with such position. Oh, you just queen. I don't know. Queen d7. No, you just take. So c4, exchanging the queens, and maybe takes. Okay, that was quite an interesting match to watch. As I said, Natso was the favorite, and he indeed won, but there were some chances for Dartanian, and there were some interesting games. Okay, to be honest, I'm quite tired, so I will probably not analyze the games. Natso is moving forward and will get a winner of Hysterix versus Astavakra match. Hysterix versus Astavakra is probably quite close. All this bottom net is quite close, so it will be interesting to watch. I think Hysterix is playing today, 3 or 4 hours later. I don't remember exactly. But maybe I will stream that as well, but I'm not sure yet. But I think that's enough for now. So goodbye.